Now we moved here to this location in Harlem.
So the first location was on First Avenue.
Well, 120. It was on 125th Street, 1 West 125th Street. That was the first address.
You used to be outside arguing and cursing people out. I remember back in the day, you was wilding. You was like
still outside. Yeah,
you got a little Hollywood.
I ain't getting no Hollywood.
You're not outside like you used to be outside.
I was just outside like 3 weeks ago.
I take that back. I apologize.
Yeah, it's on cameras.
I remember when I was younger,
right,
and I saw videos of you outside wailing.
Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rachak Wadash. I want to say double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, and also peace and safety to the Agim that's around the four corners of the world that's pushing out this truth with all diligence and putting their lives on the line to do so. And the brother Karas is out here out of Great Millstone in Atlanta. And as you can see from the clip, of Captain Tazariot basically speaking with Queen Flips, it was basically like a podcaster. That's pretty much all he does. That clip, which was from a brother that posted it, it said everything that needed to be said, and it shows how much, respect, that we should have towards our apostles here at Great Millstone, all right, because they are continually doing the work of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. They haven't, laid down the plow. They haven't looked back, and these guys are basically fully emerged, into the world, but our apostles and elders continue to labor for Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai's sake. That's why the scripture tells, us to give double honors. Because here it is, this guy, he remembers seeing Captain Tazariot from a child on the highways and byways, and now just so happened they doing a stream or whatever together, and that statement was made. He's like, bro, you're not out there like that no more, So, that's coming from a guy in the world. So what more of us seeing the things that's going on and taking place from these guys? That is like, if they can see it, you don't think that the men who have spiritual eyes, and their spiritual antennas up can see that these guys are losing, have lost the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai? Okay? So this is 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 2. It says, preach the word, be instant in season and out of season. Let's get that word instant here.
Strong's G 2186. Ephistemi.
And it says to place at, place upon, place over, to be present. It says to be present. It says, what else? It says you go down to C. It says to be at hand, be ready of time. You see? So these guys are clearly, not doing that. It says preach the word, be ready in season, out of season. You see? It says reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. You see? When you read, as I have the NIV version pulled up to the right of the screen, it says preach the word, be prepared in season and out of season. And that in season, out of season, meaning no matter what, season that we're in, whether it be hot, cold, warm, whatever it is, rain, whatever it is, you have to teach the word. You know? In which we've seen, you know, our apostles and elders have done that, man. You know? Verse 3, it says, "For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine." You see? So this is the time that's here now. You know, and it's going to continue to get worse, man. You know? It says, "But after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers, having itching ears." You see? So for their own fleshly desires is how, you know, they you know, want to teach the truth, man. You know, the Lord didn't tell us to go out and do podcasts and debates, you know, streams and whatnot. The Lord didn't tell us to do none of that, man. You know, how is that edifying? You know, a debate is nothing but an argument when no one points gets proven. All right, but if you do lessons, right, and you bring out the scriptures to the sincere listeners, it's edifying, man. You know, only to the sincere listeners, the ones who want to really learn the word, you know, and not, you know, scoff, you know, or not try to confound. You know, this is what you know, the lessons are for, man. For the elect. You know? But everybody else, hey, it's for their own lust, their own desires, man. As the scripture said. And we Captain Tazariak is an example that we seen that was just, you know, of many. Okay? Of course, we could throw names and, you know, point fingers, you know, but ultimately the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, is going to be the one who shows, like the scripture say, "And then shall they know a prophet have been among me." All right? So from there, I'm going to go to... like it. Bear with me, like it. Yeah, there you go. This is 2 Samuel chapter 3 and verse 1. And it says, "Now there was long war between the house of Saul and the house of David. But David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker and weaker." You see? And that's clear cut and to the point, man. You know, the house of David, you know, which is of the elect, and they're gonna be the ones who continue to wax stronger. You know, but the house of Saul, and the Lord, you know, did away with that with you know, Saul and his children, man. All right. So they're gonna continue to wax weaker and weaker and weaker, man. You know. And that's the example, you know, the clip that I played in the beginning of the lesson. That's the example, you know. The guy Queen Flip said, "Yeah, you don't be out there like that no more." But when you go to our apostles and elders, they're diligently doing the work, you know, even at an older age, you know. So that's how you know that the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai is working with the men of Great Millstone, man. know? And if that's, like I said before, if that's coming, you know, for somebody in the world, you know, then imagine, you know, the things that we're saying, you know, and speaking on how true of a statements that we make, you know, and not only that, and we back it up with the scriptures, you know. We got this precept. Sorry. 2 Timothy 3 and verse 1, it says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come." It says, "For men shall be lovers of their own selves." You see? And if you love your own self, then you, as the scriptures say, what? Lean not on thine own understanding. You know? Trust not in thy own understanding. All right? The heart is deceitful. These guys have listened to their heart, and now they try to fashion another way of doing the work of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. And the Lord said it's only one way, man. You know? It says covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. You see? Without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of the Most High. You see? And that's how these guys have been consumed, because they're more attracted to the pleasures of the world rather than, you know, the pleasures that Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai gives us, man. You know? So these guys are going to get judged for that, man. You know, they can hee and laugh and stream and podcast now, but when the Lord brings that judgment on this place, what manner of person ought you to be, like the scripture says in the book of Peter, man. All right? So I just wanted to touch on that. You know, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I'm going to close by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, B'Shem Ruach HaKodesh, that belongs to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule and teach well, and